So may I just quickly check with you? How far you guys? Are you aware that I think this coming week you're supposed to be done with your module 4 summative assessment? Can I just check with you? Anyone? Khomotso, Vuyo, Tozama Fezeka.
I say,
Hi Fezeka first and then you Tozama.
yes, I just did a formative assessment module 4. I did it.
Okay. And how did that go, Fezeka?
Um, it went well. I did understand. Then, although I didn't pass all the questions. I think I got
Okay.
4.
That's fine. So Khomotso, I see that you submitted today. And Tozama?
I think I'm gonna do mine tomorrow because it's been a crazy, crazy month. But I am aware that it needs to be done by Monday. So I'll probably
Okay.
do mine tomorrow on a fresh brain because the day is already done. So I'll definitely do mine tomorrow.
Okay. And Vuyo?
Hi, sir.
Okay. I think
Uh,
yes. Have you attempted your module
Yes,
4?
already submitted.
Already done. Okay. Then I
Yes.
guess let me appreciate you guys attending class, and hopefully if there were dark areas, hopefully this will shed some light. Obviously it's not going to be a long class, but I will say you guys I think noticed that I disappeared for module 3. We had some technical challenges that we had to deal with. Then after I think beginning of this year things started clearing up. But I do hope that this was worth your time and that you did gain skills that you'll be able to apply in the workplace. Because at the end of the day, your course is basically a manual into being an HR administrator. So I hope you got something from it. So let me just share my screen without wasting any time and go on to the PowerPoint slides. Please let me know if you're able to see the presentation. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, it's just appeared now. Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes, we
appearing.
can see it
Okay.
now.
So I'm not gonna drag it. But I will say that this is a very summarized version. I think if I'm correct, your study guide is about 100 and something pages, close to 200. So what I had to do is to take highlights from your study guide and just roll with it. So anytime you feel like stopping me, please do so as I proceed. So from your module, you will see that your module has different, excuse me, has different units, and each unit has what we call a learning outcome, meaning this is an aim that by a certain time you should have or you should be able to do either develop something or have the ability to do something or have knowledge about something. But for this particular module, which for me I found quite very practical, you should be able to, one, develop and communicate meeting agendas and minutes of meetings. Now, if you are a person who attends meetings, you'll be clear, or you will understand how important is it that an agenda is circulated, and also that minutes are kept. So by the end of this module, you should be able to do that. Two, you should be able to um, collect data or gather information, and that should help you to write, or actually you should be able to gather information and write effective email communications. I think if you understand the workplace, you'll be able to pick up that the communication in the workplace is so key that if it's not done correctly, it can lead to different conflicts, ultimately leading to even loss of profit, and even people being fired from work. So the third learning outcome says that you should be able to collect information, because as an HR administrator, you might need to prepare presentations. So we just go through as to how you put together your data or your information, which will feed your presentation. Then the fourth one, you'll be able to develop a weekly time management schedule with daily activities. Most people, um, I'm a professional, I still suffer from some time management issues. So this module or that unit looks at um, how one can put together their time management schedule. And then we look at the different social media platforms for recruitment. And if you understand that times are changing, when you go onto your Facebook or even X or even Instagram or even TikTok, you'll find that there's an HR person that could work for you in trying to recruit and in trying to build relations with other HR specialists, which could assist in the work that you do as an HR specialist. And then from there, we'll move and discuss the advantages and disadvantages of virtual teams. The world is changing, so surely this is one thing that you as HR administrators need to learn about. So we have a look at virtual teams. Why are they effective, or what are the benefits, and what are the shortfalls of having virtual teams? And then, because you are students of HR administration, you should be able to identify the trends that are out there that would impact you as an HR administrator. Because times are changing, as I did say, where we discuss technology, where we discuss the fact that you are able to go onto your phone, buy something from China, and it gets delivered to you within the space of time. Those are trends, and they do have an impact on you as a person who works as an HR administrator. And then from there, you should be able to design your own personal development plan, where we look at you being an HR administrator and how you would assist other people to put together their own personal development plans. Now, we will speak briefly on that. And then lastly, I did say this is practical. You'll be able to develop a CV, write a motivation to apply for a new HR opportunity. So this is quite practical for me. Can I just pause and check with you that how 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 was it for you in terms of uh, real life skills, apart um, from it being a a school thing or an academic topic? How was it for you as for your life situations? Did you find it was helpful? Did you find that you could use this somewhere else? Can I just check with you? Anyone?
Hello, sir.
Vuyo?
Hi.
Yes,
For
Vuyo.
me, it was very interesting and helpful. Hello.
Yes, I hear you. That it was
Oh,
helpful and
and
did you
interesting. Yes.
find and interesting? Okay.
Yes. As a
Did
person
did you
working,
find that you could use this somewhere else outside the
yes,
office?
as a person who's working at HR, so I learned so much. There's a skill for me.
Thank you so much, Vuyo. Anyone else?
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Tozama. Go ahead.
I would say for me, the interesting part was about the meeting. With regards to how, as an HR administrator, you would go about in actually organizing a meeting, the whole process, because also in the workplace, we get meetings on our calendars and reminders and so forth. And it actually shows the background as to what the person goes through to actually get the senior people into one meeting. Not us staff that is in the ground, but staff that is high up there. The whole process in the background. It was quite interesting, and also us, our managers, how they actually do the whole agenda process, because we just get invited to actually listen and maybe give feedback on what was discussed, but to actually get to see the whole background and the process that goes into actually collaborating and meeting and making it a successful one. It was quite interesting for me, because such things we take
Thank
them
you.
for granted.
Exactly. Thank you, Tozam. You might find that in the real world they do things differently, but because they do things differently, they tend to overlook some things, and this always or most often leads to challenges. The fact that your agenda you take from your heart and not from facts, the fact that you don't have minutes, or even the type of minutes that you have there will always affect your decisions. Fezak, you want to come in? I've noted you, Khomotso. You can always type your comment on the chat. Fezak, you want to come in? Okay, that's noted, Khomotso. Okay, let me then proceed. So please let me know if the screen has disappeared, but you should be able to see this. Is that fine?
Yes, we're able
I,
to see everything, the
okay, thank
learning
you so much.
outcomes.
Thank you. So as I indicated earlier, so you as an HR person, then one other thing that you would need to do is develop a meeting agenda. And I think from what we've just discussed, you would need to have details. Begin your agenda with the most important details. And obviously, your agenda is informed by the objectives. Why, in the first place, are you having a meeting? Because if you're having a meeting for the sake of meeting, chances are you'll spend hours there and not knowing exactly what it is that you need to do. And then from there, you break down your objectives. So your objectives, let's make an example. You want to open a new branch. And if you want to open a new branch, obviously topics of your a branch of your bakery. If I make an example, so your topics would be space, machinery, people, and then those would be the topics according to your agenda. They should be specific, result orientated, timed, and realistic. So your topic should say, if we say space, meaning the place where you will have or place your bakery, you'll have to be specific in that you need to say how big it should be. How much should it cost? When should it be rented? And would this be realistic in terms of you finding that space? In terms of, I think I mentioned material. What type of material would you need? Who would be responsible for it? When do you need it by? Can this be done within these resources that you have? Then the book goes on to say that it's always best to have at least a maximum of 5 topics during the meeting. And because it has been proven that outside 5 topics, the meeting will not be effective. So outside 5 topics, the meeting will cease to be effective. And what you will find is that people will lose concentration and all types of things will happen. I was just trying to find if there's someone trying to get in. Okay, no one. Okay, so each topic you set an allocated time. I was unfortunately in a meeting today for 2 hours and a half. The meeting degenerated because there was no topics on the floor and there was no time allocated. And then when it comes to 7, the person chairing wanted to answer questions while it's never advisable to do so. So you provide an indication of who is leading each topic. If we're talking about finding space for a bakery, who'd be the best person to do that? Chances are it would be the operations manager. In terms of material, it would be, for example, maybe the production manager. And then in terms of the people that are required, it would be the HR person. So each item should be assigned a person who would lead it. And then at the end of each item, once presented, you'd have, or at the end of the items, and then at the end of the agenda, you would have questions with the discussions. And then once the agenda is done, you can always have any other business drafted into the agenda. This is done before the meeting sits. You don't just now because you think of something that was not mentioned, you say, let's draft in any other business. No, usually agreed upon at the beginning of the meeting. And then on your agenda, always remember to include any other relevant and helpful information. Who's presenting? How long are they presenting? Brief, brief background, which might not be many lines, to just indicate what exactly is this about. Any comments on the meeting agenda before I pass? Any comments on the meeting agenda before I pass? Okay, I'll take it as if there's none and then continue. So the next point of focus was drafting effective email communication. I will just say that most communication at work happens through emails or memos, but most of the time in the workplace you use email. And this quickly degenerates when there isn't a proper way of people talking to each other via email. I think, I'm not sure who said they are working here at HR. Doesn't it bother you when people say, I hope this finds you well, and then you know that whatever comes next, it's gonna be a fight? Or when they say with due respect. So there should be a certain way, a certain standard that's expected as an HR person when you are writing an email. One, start with a formal or polite greeting. Try and make sure that the tone is not harsh. Then introduce yourself. That's if you are writing for someone else. But obviously, you won't need to introduce yourself if you are writing for your colleagues. Why are you writing the email? And then provide further content as to why you're writing the email, and then close positively. And then you sign off, meaning indicating who you are, so that this person knows. Can I also get a comment on this one before we continue? What has been your experience with emails? Your experience with emails?
From my side,
Ozama?
I would say, if you feel that the emotions are getting the better of you, is to park the response and then reply at a later stage, because certain tones in certain emails can trigger certain emotions, and that can come across in your wording in an email. So it's to just take a step back and then go back and then respond in a professional manner with facts and just no emotions involved, and just stick to the facts of the email, because ultimately we're all human beings. Certain emails and certain words in an email, the wording will trigger certain emotions.
Couldn't have said it better, Tozama. We become keyboard warriors. I hope this finds you well. And you start typing your emotions there. Thank you so much for that comment. Anyone else with different experience on email? Welcome, Unalina. We are busy with module 4 summary, and we are discussing how to write effective emails. Have you had experiences with emails? Okay, let's proceed to the next section, with is the next outcome is, I said, the types of data which exist. Now, I'll tell you now, from this level that you are in right up to doctorate level, even master's level, this is always almost the data that you will have to use, even in your offices. The data is either quantitative or qualitative. And your statistics, your charts, your salary, your graph, most of the time are quantitative. It refers to numerical data, and you have your qualitative data, which is non-numeric, meaning surveys, interviews, people where instances where people give their opinion, and interviews. It's qualitative. It's from people. It can't be just numbers. This was done because we wanted to just understand that HR uses different data at different intervals. You, as an HR administrative person, you must understand the types of data that is there and when is each used. Because um, if you want to graphically show days of absenteeism, people who have left the workplace, um, um, people with different trainings that they went to, you would have to use quantitative data. But if you measure how people feel about, say, the new boss, you might not just limit them to say yes, no, agree, or disagree. But you might say, write a comment about how you feel about this person. Now it becomes qualitative. Both are very key in decision making. And if you use them properly, they will assist you in what you're trying to achieve. Any comments on the data and data collection methods? Anyone? Okay, proceeding to the next section. So you collecting the data to put together presentations. I spoke of graphs, I spoke of tables, and different other presentations. Because in your life as an HR administrator, you might need to put together a presentation of some sort. And this is where I had said that even outside the workplace, the course that you're doing is quite relevant in that you might need to put together a presentation like this one that I'm doing. Decide on the purpose of the presentation. Why are you, what exactly are you trying to present? Are you trying to present, excuse me, the absenteeism statistics? Excuse me. Are you trying to present a case for increase in salary? Are you trying to present a case where you need new machinery? Either way, you might have collected data for you to put onto your presentation. So you decide on the purpose, you list the objectives of the presentation. What are you trying to achieve? And then the aims in the introduction. Difference between objectives and aims. The aims are usually broad while the objectives are uh, focused. So you would need to make sure that your information is relevant and accurate. This is not guesswork. I had said you're trying to convince them to give you an increase in salary. So you might need to make sure that your information that you're putting forward is accurate. And then just make sure that you understand the content and the objectives of the presentation. Because if you don't, then you will find yourself saying everything and anything, and chances are this will not be helpful for you or to you. So you must understand the content. Just before you go and present to other people, make sure you internalize it, you understand it, and it speaks to the objectives of the presentation. Because if it doesn't, then it means you're just wasting people's time, actually. So always know who your audience is, because once you know who your audience is, the type of language, um, your gestures, the type of material that you put in. If you're speaking to primary school children, you might need to put in pictures. If you're speaking to managers, you might put in graphs and tables. If you're speaking to entry-level workers, you might need to put in different types of information. Always know who your audience is, because that assists you in how you design your presentation. And then consider the diversity, the background, and the knowledge of the audience. Because unlike me right now, I can only use one audiovisual aid, meaning I can use this presentation and be on Teams. But if we are going to present to people who really don't understand English, might not use the slides. You might get them to watch you might get them to watch a documentary of some sort where they'll be able to hear. You might get them to read something in their language which they will understand. You might use different tools. So it's important that you understand and choose appropriate audiovisual aids. So your audiovisual aids would be your presentations, would be your cards, would be your charts. So anything that you use to assist you. Then you plan the format of the presentation, and it must have a logical structure, like I did. I first introduce the learning outcomes and then go into each of the learning outcomes. And after I present one, I say, is there a question? So there must be a logical structure, and then summarize key facts in the conclusion, just to connect to what you have been doing previously. And then create visual aids that summarize the information to be conveyed. Visual aids like this one. If you look at your study guide, it's totally different from your study guide. It's different from this presentation that I am showing you. Any comments on this? Did you learn anything from putting together a presentation? Are you confident that you'll be able to put in or design or develop your own presentation? Vuyo, Tozama Fezeka, and Unalina. Anyone? You guys still here?
Yes, we're still here. With regards to being confident, I wouldn't say 100% confident, but it's obviously trial and error. And as you've said, it would depend on the audience that you're presenting to, on the animations and so forth. So it would depend on that, on how you would do your presentation. But it's obviously something that you would need to present because there would be different topics for different people. So it would obviously need to take shape in different forms, different formats with regards to the fonts, sizes, the coloring, the backgrounds. So it would be something that one would need to do their research on. Hello?
So I decided to speak for all that time while I muted myself. I'm so sorry. Where did I break? I think I disappeared here. Do you guys understand this table? Do you understand how this table works? Do you understand how the table works? Anyone? Tozama?
I think the table is about shaping the important stuff and the not so important stuff, planning around it.
That's
And
correct.
also giving yourself enough time because um planning your task and finishing them beforehand, because as you can see now we also have things like load shedding that is
Mm,
currently on our case. So it's all about planning your roster
okay.
and your schedule around that as well.
Thank you, Tozama. Basically about you allocating priorities. You see here, am I able to see the presentation?
Yes, I can see, we can see it.
The PowerPoint, okay. Something can either be urgent and important, or something can be urgent, not important. It can be urgent, urgent, but okay. For it to be here, you must have answered yes to both, meaning that it's urgent, it's also important. Sometimes it's important, but it's not urgent. Sometimes it's urgent, but not important. Sometimes it's not urgent, it's not important. So any task or everything that comes across you, you have to ask your question. Is it urgent? Can it wait? Does it have to be done now? If it doesn't need to be done now, then it can be here. As you can see here, there's A, B, C, D, meaning on urgency, B is important, but it's not urgent. Can you see that? And then on C, it's important. No, sorry, it's urgent, but it's not important. And D, it's neither important nor urgent. So this would assist you in decision making to say how you prioritize. What are those things that you can put off till later? What are those things that do not have to be attended right now? I hope I've explained it thoroughly. It would help you even in your personal lives where you're trying to organize your time. Also, I did say for this to be successful, there are certain things that you need to do. Stop procrastinating, putting off things that you can do now for later. I did say that always compromises quality, because when you do it late, the quality has been compromised. Keep your inbox clean, respond to your emails quickly. Do not try to do everything at the same time. You will not win when you try to multitask. Yes, I've heard that ladies are efficient in multitasking, not in the workplace. Save time to do one thing at a time and do that. Cultivate efficiency, meaning for what you have allocated time, do it within the allocated time. And then eliminate interruptions, put the phone away, shut down social media, do all types of things where you are not interrupted. And then prioritize in order of importance. Don't do those things that are not important. And then organize your work area. Sorry for cutting off earlier. So I did mention that the world is changing and that uh, most of the world has now moved to, or not most, some of the world has moved to virtual teams. I know I work for IQ Academy totally on a virtual contract, meaning I seldom set foot in the physical building, but we work virtually. And it's always working out very good because it's lower cost, greater availability of talent, retention of employees, because they don't have to be tied down to all the rules and everything that's happening in the physical building. Reduced travel time for me, there's no travel time. And then a 24-hour work day. I think the case in point, us having a class at this time, it does show that I can work anytime. And then there's productivity and use of technology, meaning increased technological sophistication. We mark you on virtually. We we can share screens, we can record, all these other things. But there are disadvantages to virtual teams. The technology is expensive. We have to pay rates for teams. There's always conflict, lack of trust, where some other times you don't have the human touch where you get to see the person. And this would lead to conflicts. And then social isolation because you are there and I'm here. There isn't that human contact. Even for me as an employee of IQ Academy, I never bond with the rest of the team. So this social isolation, and then the fact that we're quite flexible can be exploited. And that at 8 o'clock in the evening, they would want something from me for me to respond. So as an HR administrative person, this is key for you to understand and know. So also it's key for you to understand that the world is changing. I refer to globalization and virtual workplaces. Apart from workplaces, anyone can work for any company anywhere. Meaning, I can teach English online for Chinese people in China. I can buy a product in America, which would have taken 20 years, now takes a week, because globalization has made sure that the world is smaller. Technology, different types of technologies changing all the time. Not social media. I think we are currently trying to move you from ICANN to a virtual campus, which is totally different. So technology is always evolving. With it, the HR trends, meaning um, maybe next time for the short course, you might not have a lecturer taking you on for a live session. You might just watch videos that are pre-recorded. That's technology for you. Then, as an HR person, you need to understand that there's different generations. There's baby boomers who were earlier. There's Generation X. There's Generation Y. There's millennials. All of those people have different beliefs about the workplace and how things work. I can tell you now that back in the day, loyalty was viewed as very important, and people used to stay in jobs. Not now. I'm at 2000, meaning the first Generation X. Those guys don't really care. You if they find the workplace is toxic, they just walk out of the door. So HR people, that's what is happening. HR consumerism, meaning we're no longer just about humans, and it's all about business now, moving and in the fast pace. And then also there's a move towards organizational effectiveness. Culture is a thing, meaning organizational culture is something that is being looked at. Employee engagement is something that's being looked at. Leadership, teams, because there's a strong belief that these teams will assist an organization to pass over others. So part of what you would need to be able to do is to develop your own personal development plan and assist others. And if you have a look at this, a PDP looks like this. Questions like, what do I need to learn? What are you lacking in? How will you learn this skill or knowledge or ability or behavior that you want to learn? What would be the method that would work for you? Would it be coaching? Would you need mentoring? Would this need to be done off the job, or would it need to be done on the job? And then also, what would you need for you to achieve this? Support, resources that are needed for you to achieve the learning objectives. What is it that management must give you? Must they give you manuals? Do you need to watch videos? Do you need to attend workshops? What is it that you will need to achieve this development method that you want? And then a question would be, how will we know that development has taken place? How will we measure? How will we measure that learning has taken place? Because you must be able to say, this is what I wanted to do, this is what has happened. So measures to indicate that you have achieved your learning. We refer to return on investment. We also refer to return on the training profits. So all of those would assist you in understanding how success is measured. And then there's usually a timeline attached to this. Because you give a training plan, there must be a timeline to say the training will take place by this time and it will be evaluated by this time. So the last slide speaks to CVs. I've just sampled from your do's and don'ts. And I think for those who are looking for jobs, this is a very important thing to learn. Your CV, I think your HR people who are here will tell you, you only get 30 seconds to look at the CV. 30 seconds. So if your CV does not make a good first impression, it will not go to the next phase. Should be easy to read. People should not be looking for information on your CV. It must just be there. No slang, professional business English. Keep it short and concise. And then make sure the spelling and the grammar check is done. And then it must be relevant and accurate. Do not lie on your CV. So don't use bright colors and pictures. Yes, I've seen in the different platforms like LinkedIn, people saying they'll revamp your CV only for them to beautify it. The beautification of a CV does not assist. You need content there. Don't try to use big inflated words. In HR, we speak about keywords and we speak of action words. What is it that you're able to do? If now you expect someone who will shortlist you to go now find a dictionary to understand what is it that you did, then already there's a problem. No slang, no casual expressions. Please, no emoticons on a CV. Don't have a long drawn out CV. You really don't need to have that done. Apart, unless we're professional, which would be required to produce such, and then try avoid typing in grammatical errors. Do not lie or misrepresent yourself. People have been fired from work for doing such things. So that's it for this lesson. Thank you so much. May I just get comments and questions on the lesson? Was this any help? I know you've done it already, but was the class helpful? Anyone before we call it a day? I know it's a Friday. Vuyo, last words? Tozama. Fezeka. Nalina. Any last comments, guys? Hi, Fezeka.
Hi, sir.
You keep breaking. Was the class worth it?
Yes, it was. It was. I think now we have a clear understanding about writing a CV.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fezeka. Vuyo. Tozama.
Hi. For me, I would say the time management planning, the table that you actually showed on the screen, in actually asking yourself questions: is it urgent? Is it important? Because I think most of us, are, including myself, struggle with time management. So when you get into that procrastination phase, then you should maybe ask yourself questions, because it's easy to get derailed and do the fun stuff instead of doing the not so fun stuff that is actually important. So asking yourself those questions actually reminds you and takes you back of what needs to be done and the important stuff that needs to be done before you go on to the fun stuff. So for me, that was very informative.
Thank you so much. Vuyo, is it Unalina? With us? I guess not. Guys, thank you so much for attending the lesson. I hope you did learn, and I will upload this on YouTube and then share the link on YouTube and share the link on ICANN. Thank you so much, Unalina. I saw the comment. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and all the best for your assessment for those who have not done it. Please, if you have any issues, I think I might see you next week, Friday, again for virtual campus, and the week after that. So next week, I might see you for virtual campus. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I think it's okay.